Well, good morning and welcome to the Loretta McNary Show. So, this month we're celebrating incredible women, not only celebrating the history of what has been done, we're celebrating what is presently being done, and it will have the impact for many years and generations to come. And we're kicking off this segment today with the phenomenal Carolyn Michael Banks. She grew up on the sixth floor of a housing project in the Bronx. Her mother came home one day and said, "Hey, we're going to Guana." And at 14 years old, standing on African soil, something was awakened in her that no classroom, no zip code, no other experience, and no limitation could ever cause her to go back to sleep. She later moved to Memphis, Tennessee, and blessed this city with her imagination, her incredible aptitude for excellence, and her heart for making sure the past is never forgotten. Everybody, welcome my dear friend, Carolyn Michael Banks, CEO, founder, A Tour of Possibilities. Hi, Carolyn. Here she is, everybody.
Great
Hi,
morning,
lady.
great morning, great morning. In spite of the weather, great morning.
You know what? Because of the weather, great
Mm.
morning, right? I'm so glad you're here. So, I want to go ahead and spend these next few minutes with you, getting to know you, sharing your incredible experience and your passion for Memphis, Tennessee. It wasn't always Memphis, Tennessee that had your eye. So, take us there when you got back home on American soil.
Well, it's an interesting journey that I've been on. Once I did have that incredible experience of going to the motherland, Ghana specifically, and I went to college in Worcester, Massachusetts, another place I hadn't planned on being. And after that, I moved to Washington, D.C., and started my career in tourism, which literally changed my world. And with that experience, I was able to be, how shall I say, moved to another city, which was Savannah, Georgia. And I did tours there. I also opened up an operation in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for another tour company I was working with. And then my journey changed. And the journey was, you will now be working for yourself because we're downsizing you. That's not what they said, but that's what happened.
Yeah, that's the
And
reality of it, right?
that's it.
Regardless of what they said.
Woo! Because that truly was not my plan. When I think back, Loretta, the things I had planned is really quite funny because none of it has really kind of come to be. And I've really been led to a place, and that place is now Memphis.
When did you know Memphis was that place, though? Because there are so many people in Memphis, residents, and this is not just familiar to Memphis, Tennessee. This is in every city, in every state, in every people. Somebody wants to be somewhere else, or they think it's better over there. But
Mhm.
people fail to realize that wherever you go, you are still you. Mm. If you
That's
do the
true.
same things you're doing here, then it's going to be the same experience. So when did you know this is home for me?
I didn't really get it until I started looking at the history of the city. I was here 14 years before I actually knew Memphis because I realized not only here, but many times we live in these silos, no matter where we are. And we kind of, like we go to school, we go to church, we go to the supermarket, but we really don't, especially if you're not from a place, we really don't embrace it. But I started doing research about the history in this city since I had done tours in many other cities. And that's when I knew this was where I was supposed to be because I knew three things about Memphis. I knew that Dr. King was assassinated here. I knew that Elvis still walked the planet for many people here, and
Mhm.
that barbecue was just, something that you had to have every day. And from that, I was able to start to see the richness that often is right below the surface, often hidden in plain sight. And as a person in the tourism industry became like, wow, I can't wait to do this.
Wow. So what was it that you said, okay, we need to, everybody, especially the people in Memphis and people when they're visiting us, there's something missing here. What can I add to the flavor that's already here, but different, unique, very super important and impactful? When did you decide a tour of possibilities was a possibility and had to happen?
Well, I, interestingly enough, was working for the Tennessee Lottery for 10 years, which is a whole nother conversation for another day. But when I first came to Memphis, and one of the things I always do when I go to a city is to take a tour. And like any other city I worked in, the story of African Americans was not even like a footnote for many. And when I started to see how much there was here, that's kind of when I knew. Besides, it was time for me to leave what I was doing. And tourism was the only thing I did as an adult that gave me joy. It was the only thing I did as an adult that when I would wake up, I would go, oh, I can't wait to do that. So when the history connected with what made me feel alive, that's when I knew.
Wow. And one thing I want to tell people, it is the most phenomenal tour. And I've been on tours everywhere, um, international tours, tours here. And one that struck me, and they do it in Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah. But when I did a tour possibilities with Carolyn Michael Banks, it totally changed everything for me. And my level of excellence for tours is way up here. And I've yet to find somebody else, because what she does not do is sugarcoat our history. She is like point blank. This is what happened: the slavery, the lynchings, the mobs, the desegregation, the segregation. And of course, she includes the Kings, Elvis, Dr. Martin Luther King. There is no other like him. And she talks about the cotton trade, and you just get a feel for it. But she is so passionate about it. She becomes a whole different person from the woman that you see every day at meetings and networkers, and this woman you see on the show. When she's doing her tour, she embraces the tour guide ness of our ancestors. So you gotta experience it. She becomes an actress almost. And I love that about her. So having said all of that, why do you believe it is so important that we do that tour like that and not stick with the soul music, the stacks? You do all of that too. And you're just so encompassing of the tour, but it hurts you, and it uncovers layers that you probably tried to hide, or you just didn't know about our incredible city. So what made that so important for you to do it that way?
I believe that I was blessed to have a platform where I was able to share what most people don't get. And when I say most people, I mean even myself. I mean, I grew up with I thought, well-rounded education until I started actually studying us as an African American people. And I truly believe we miss so much out of pure ignorance. And I say that with love, because often we're not taught it. But what I feel today, especially in today's world, we might have, people saying we need to ban these books. We need to make sure this history isn't taught in school. All of that conversation is on one level. But once you know it, they can't take it from you. And I believe that the strength that we have is often based on what has happened in the past. And the fact that what has happened in the past can lead us to what we can do now. Because there's nothing new under the sun. We keep acting like this is new. This has been going on forever. But for me, the story is how we came out of it. It's the resilience. It was the resistance. And I'm like, let's lean in on all that makes us who we are today.
Yeah, and where is that place you take us behind the building, and it faces the river, and it's all of these incredible women, and they have these statues, so to speak, of them. Where is that place, and what's that about?
Sure, that is called the Equality Trailblazers Monument, and it's located right behind the University of Memphis Law School, which is right on Front Street. And it's, to me, that is like the epitome of what happens in many cities. They're hidden, yet really in plain sight. But if you're driving down front, like we often do, getting ready to get on the expressway or go further downtown, we don't know about it. And it is one of Memphis's best kept secrets. It's been here since 2022, so not that long, but long enough for it to be more visible than it is.
It made such an impact. I don't know exactly how we got there, because before I leave one scene, we're getting to another historical place, and I'm still reveling in that place. And then we are at another one. So I don't remember exactly how we got there, but I remember it vividly, seeing these women, hearing their history, reading their history, and you telling us about it and taking us back. So what's one of the most impactful parts of the tour that really, every time you see it, and you've seen it and talked about it a million times, but it still tugs at your heart with tears or with joy? What place is that in Memphis, Tennessee for you?
That's really tough, Loretta.
I know, because you are the mama of them all. You treat them like they're your babies.
I'm going to share a place that unfortunately I'm unable to go back into right now, but I'm working on that. And that's Mason Temple. So, as many of us are aware, the role that the African American church played in our history is huge. But Mason Temple in Memphis, Tennessee, is where Dr. King gave his famous and his last and prophetic speech, I've been to the mountaintop. And for me, when I used to have the opportunity to bring my guests there, something would happen. They would walk down that center aisle and then stand behind that sacred desk and know that they were standing in the same spot where Dr. King stood less than 24 hours before he was assassinated. And when I would see what would happen to my guests, some would stand there and not move. Some would stand there and tears come down because there's like an anointing in that space that's hard to describe. But I guess if I had to choose one, that would be one of the many. But they had a very unfortunate experience during COVID, and many of their senior leadership caught COVID and then passed. So they've been very, very cautious about how they open the doors. But I'm working really hard because that's a space that is nowhere else in the world. And that's a space I really want people to have the experience of stepping into. Because I'll tell you this, Loretta, I didn't like history growing up. I mean, hate is a hard word, but it was close.
I can't even imagine that you did it because you are incarnate when it comes to history. You're like you met and talked to the people who were there, and now you're able to tell their story so clearly and passionately. So that's crazy.
But
I believe you because I know you're telling me the truth.
But for me, history is different once you're, for example, in a space where it happened. Mm-hmm. And that Mason Temple is one of those places where history happened, will never be repeated again, could never be repeated again. And I'm telling you, once it's in there, it's in there.
It's in there. And I want everybody to contact you. I do have some more questions, but what I want to do now is tell people how they can find you, how they can sign up for the tour, and how they can follow you on social media. Because what she does on her social media is a smidget of what she does on the tour possibility. And she does it in a different way from when you're in her beautiful van. I thought it was a Mercedes Sprinter. She tells me it is not, but it feels and looks like it. So where can they find you?
Directly on our website, which is atopmemphis.com, atopmemphis.com. And from there, you'll get all our social media, our Facebook, our Instagram, and TikTok. So I'm an old head. All right. I'm an old head.
You are. You're so amazing. So what we're going to do now, since you know how to find her, and I hope you've enjoyed this incredible story from one of my favorites women on the move people. She is on the move, definitely. She's making history. So we're going to pause right now. We do have some more segments coming up, and you don't want to miss the next segment that we have with Lady LaJuana. She's coming up, and yes, she is definitely royal, but the most humble person you'll ever meet. And it's so funny that we call Carolyn Michael Banks Queen, and coming up next, we have high royal princess coming on next. So don't go too far, and you'll all roll to me too. We'll be right back in just a moment. All right, that's enough pause for the cause here. So what we do now, this is the fun part. Okay. And Monica, thank you so much for I knew Monica would do that. She's my media specialist, expert guru out of Louisiana. atopmemphis.com is how you can find the Queen, Carolyn Michael Banks. So Carolyn, I want to ask you these questions now that we're in the fun part of this segment of spotlighting incredible, phenomenal, magnificent women who are a part of history. They're making history, and their history will be told like we're telling the history of all the amazing women before us. So who inspires you? I know your mom plays a critical role in your life. She's like your first inspiration, your first role model. Who, I want to include your mom because I know she does inspire you. Who else inspires you? What other woman in history inspires you?
It's another woman that many don't know, but those who know me know my sister who's no longer with us. So my sister was the type of person who taught me how If you need to give the shirt off your back to somebody, do it. I mean, she just taught me things that you never would find in a book. She taught me empathy. She taught me love. She taught me so much that she was my second mom, if you will. And I miss her dearly. But I mean, from checking my homework to just making sure I had everything I needed, even if it wasn't financial, she just filled me, and she taught me how to be with other people. And she was just one of the most amazing people on the planet, Jeanette Ann Michael. And she was an attorney, but just one of the best people on the planet.
Oh, wow. I love how you chose your mom and your sisters. And we need to do more than like I and my mom, I call her little girl and she hates that I call her that. But I've learned how so much from her, as much as I could probably complain about some of the stuff, that she does because that's who she is. That lady taught me how to be ladylike, how to present myself always at the highest level. She taught me to do all the things to keep your house, because our energy in our home shows up in our energy and our spirit. I don't know which one comes first, but is there clutter in one area, there's clutter in both areas. So she taught me that. We were family. My dad and my mom showed me family is first. No matter who else or what else is going on, your family, your mom, your dad, and your siblings should be the first in your life in whatever capacity and the role they play in that life after you all have grown up. But that's so critical to me. And after that, Coretta Scott King, another woman who just shows you how to be a great person, a great woman. She was strong in her own right, although people know her best for supporting the movement and raising her children, and Dr. Martin Luther King as her husband. But those kind of women, and then Diane Carroll, the first lady on TV, first Black lady, African American woman on TV with her own series, long running. She played a nurse. I didn't know anybody else playing a nurse. And she did it so beautifully, so strong, so feminine at the same time. And I think she was a mom too, but I remember that. And that was from my childhood as well. Yeah. So what advice would you have for women who have imposter syndrome? Because a lot of women, whether you're facing it now or you have in the past, or it just shows up every once in a while. And that's when you feel like you don't deserve the good in your life, or you don't deserve to be in a room, or to wear a title, or to be at the table. What advice do you have for someone to help them? You know what? Let's not even use that word because it doesn't exist anymore. What advice do you have?
Recognize it.
Ooh,
recognize
and own it.
Because once you recognize it, then you can act a different way. And I have to be as transparent as possible. I had a bit of it just yesterday. I was sitting in a room with other business owners, and I'm sitting there going, what am I doing here? Why did they invite me? And then I just recognized it, caught it, and then said, no, this is where I'm supposed to be. I wouldn't have been invited any other way. So understand that it's human. It's unfortunate what a lot of us feel, but when you try to ignore it, it doesn't go away. So when it comes up, and it will come up from time to time, no matter how much success you've had, recognize and go, I see you. I see you. Get behind me. Put you under my feet. But so just go through it, and it will come up unless you're superhuman. But yeah.
Exactly. And I don't know what people called it before somebody created the imposter syndrome narrative, but it's definitely something that causes you to feel like you don't deserve the success. And it doesn't go away because you are ascending. Now that success was great, and now God opens another door, or you get this another incredible opportunity. But always know, I don't care how much money, do not value what you bring to the table by your bank account, good or bad, millions of billions, or negative $23.12. That doesn't negate who you are and what you're capable of, and all that you have done and gone through and persevered. And now you're at the same table as those people with all the zeros behind in their bank account. So I want women, show up, whether you believe it or not, or you feel it not. What does feeling have to do with it, honey? Your feelings would have you doing crazy stuff. Trust me, it'll have you sitting at home when you should be out there at that meeting, shining, meeting people. So don't say I don't feel like it, because honey, that's not it. Now your woman's tuition, now that's different. That's different. We're not talking about ignore what you feel in your heart and your belly that tells you that's safe, or you should run, flight or fight, right? But don't stay at home because you don't feel like it or you don't know how it's going to be or you don't know anybody. That is a trick of the enemy to keep you from shining your light on somebody.
And
So
you'll
any
block
closing
your
remarks,
blessing. You
Queen?
will block your blessing. So
You are definitely blocking your blessings and the blessings of somebody who is in that room waiting on who you are and what you have. And I'm not talking about financially. I mean that covering, that anointing, that oil. Don't make me go spiritual on you because I will.
You can't help yourself. I ain't mad at you either.
But there is a reason why you were invited or why it came into your space. There are no coincidences. There are no winky dinks, right? That happened because it was a God divine opportunity for people to see you and you to be seen and heard because you have a word or a connection or a smile that somebody is depending on. So show up. And if you want to, show out. It's up to you. How good you feel. Any other advice before we close? I've enjoyed just talking to you, and I'm telling you, I love your TikToks. I love your Instagram feed. I love the tour for sure. And I know you're working on a lot of stuff. And this is a great tour. Who would be like your ideal client, Queen, to come and take this tour? Who has not taken it, or who do you want to return? You don't have to call a name, but just that kind of characteristics of that perfect person.
I'm looking for Memphians to do this. I would love for Memphians to see the gems that are in their own backyard. People come from around the world here because they know. And a lot of times when you live and grow up in a place, you're just not appreciative of it. So that's really my target at this point. And not just individuals, businesses, anybody who employs people who are working for the citizenry of Memphis, they need to have this as part of their orientation program. Schools of higher learning, Lemoyne, Christian Brothers, Rhodes, all those students that come here to learn, they need to know about the city that they're now participating in, because too much of us have a view of this city based on what the news shows us. And we know that's not a healthy view. So take those, it doesn't even take long to just get a sense of what's here. You can go back on your own and do a whole lot of stuff, but I'm telling you, appreciating the richness of the city will perhaps shift how you see us.
Oh my goodness. It will definitely shift how you see this city, especially residents. And I agree with you. I think it should be part of every company's onboarding, their orientation, not only for people out of town, out of the state, to come here so that they can know the city in which they're residing. And they will love Memphis once they get here. If you can just get past the noise and negative noise, they're not. And one thing, unfortunately, they're not making up the crime numbers. They're not making up the negativity in a city. But we're not the only city that it happens in, right? There is no city perfect, and there's no city without a crime problem or a homelessness problem or just, other ills that are social, right? But the richness and the love and the camaraderie in this city is matchless. I don't care where you go. And opportunity, if you think you can go to Atlanta or LA and become this superstar, just think what you can do here in Memphis, right? And then you can go there, or they will come for you. But don't feel like because leaving a place rarely is the answer unless God told you to leave. The answer is always inside of you. Try it differently. Go out and meet somebody. Lower the expectation that somebody should do something for you. They should give them a reason to attend your events, to come to your book signing. Ask somebody who you see who is able to really champion that thing and they're rocking it, and go to them and say, hey, how did you get all these people to come? I have people do it all the time. Loretta, how do you get these people to show up to your event? How do you get people to do this? How do you get someone to do that? Well, you make people feel seen, heard, and valuable, and never just ask. That's the worst thing you can do is send me an email on LinkedIn and say, Loretta, I want you to buy this system that I have. Or Loretta, I want you to buy this. Get to know me. Find out what my needs are. And that's what I do to people. I don't say, hey, Carolyn, I need you to come be on my show. I mean, it's a win-win for both of us. Maybe it's not a good example because Carolyn knows, and I know having her on is good for me. She knows being on is good for her because we've been doing this before. But don't just ask somebody to buy something when you first meet them. What do you think about that, Carolyn?
Well, when I named my company A Tour of Possibilities, it's because that's how I was raised. And so I truly believe that there's a reason we're on the planet. And as my mom would say, you're here for more than just exchanging air. So start to figure out what it is your purpose is and then live in that. Because we really need to understand we don't know when we're getting out of here. And I'm of a true belief that if you show up the way you need to show up for others, you are serving your purpose. And so, and that's how I operate, because everybody needs some stuff. And if I can just give a little bit, that's why I love to hug. When you see me, you may not, I'm a hugger. And I realize that not many people get hugged very often. I mean, that in itself for me brings me joy, because I could feel those hugs sometimes and I can tell something's going on. So, you know,
Oh yeah.
be the light that you want to, you want to sit in a certain way, do what you have to do. We all can do something. And I think that's the part we keep missing. We keep waiting for them to get it right. Have you gotten it right? Have you gotten your piece right?
Absolutely. Nobody can stop you. Nothing and no one can stop a moving train. And that moving train is you aligned with your purpose and pursuing it with so much passion that you do it 100 hours a day and you're not even tired. But that takes you taking a step. I can't share what works for me because I can share it all day until you take a step. And we need your business. We need another you. Because no one can do it like you. Can say, well, somebody's already got this company. Somebody's already, well, they can't do it like you. You think FedEx cares that UPS exists? You think UPS cares that United States Post Office delivers too? No, they don't. And it's obvious because they're all out there and they're all winning. There is room at the top for as many people that are bold, crazy enough, faith-filled enough, loving people. You can't just do it for money though, because money will come and money will go. But your passion will get you in rooms that money cannot, titles cannot, degrees cannot. But your passion and your purpose, that door gonna open if you take the step, honey. The Red Sea did not part because they wanted it to. It parted because they stepped in that water first. Step in the water first. Okay. I'm telling you, I love this. You know, this is me, Carolyn. People know me for the show, but you know me as a mastermind and as a coach because we coach each other and show up. You think we're out there because it's easy. It's easy to walk in a room full of people you may not know, any one or two or three. No, it's not easy for me, but I do it. And I always am so blessed because I did. And I always regret that I did it. So I want to not live with regrets, especially in this season. I'm not regretting. I don't care if to get more friends. I have great friends. I got to show up as Loretta. Take it or leave it. Queen, I love it when you start talking and your passion comes out and I can hear that New York in you. I can hear all that Bronx come out. I love it.
And the first thing they trained me to do is sound like I don't come from New York, which is, I've done really well with that. But, you know, I start talking to people back home and it comes back out. But yeah, I mean, to be born and raised in that kind of city and then be exposed to so much more, God knew. He knew. He said, I'm starting right there.
He knows it all. He knew. He is so awesome. He knew that you had to be born in the public housing because you would be different and do different and tell people it's not where you start. You're a prime example. It's not where you start. It's where you go and how you finish and the impact you make. All right, Queen, I'm not going to keep taking up all your time. I'm so glad we're doing this. And if you want to be featured on the Loretta McNary Show, Women's History Month, Making History Month, just send me an email, lorettamcnary@gmail, and one of my producers will get to you. And you don't have to have like $6 million in the bank. You can have $23.12. I don't know why that's sticking with me. I need to check my account and see if it's starting to tell me something. But
you've been peeping in people's bank accounts. Okay.
I'm peeping, honey. So money is not the issue. Not having the money is not the problem. You're not having faith in who you are and what God put in you is the problem.
That's right.
And a lot of things that are happening in society is because people like us who know we are the difference. We are the change. We're not living up to it because we're scared. Honey, don't be afraid. There's nothing to fear.
Do it afraid.
Do it afraid and live like you believe. So we're going to take this pause and we're going to come off social media. But one thing I want you to do, I rarely ask, is to comment, share, and like this post, like Carolyn Michael Banks, all her social media, follow her Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Carolyn Michael Banks. She's easy to follow. She's easy to find. And then everybody that's engaged on this conversation with us, everybody like each other, follow each other. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Carolyn, thank you. You're the best person to kick this off with, honey. Thank you.
So
Memphis, honey. I wish I could do the thing, right? I wish I could do. Oh, I almost had it. 3 down, Orange Mound, and then Memphis. Yeah, we got that thing. All right. I love you all so much. We'll see you in the next segment. And again, if you know someone or if you're that someone and you want to be featured, you want to have this conversation, send us an email, Loretta McNary at gmail.com. Bye for now, beloved.
Thank you.